Real Deal Sports Talk with me, KP. It is November 12th, Saturday, 2016. All right. How's everybody feeling out there today? Everybody doing good? Everybody to have a great college football Saturday. We got some NBA action today. We got NHL action today, if you know that's your thing. Different things going on in the NFL, but tomorrow's mostly our NFL show day. So we'll deal with the NFL on the new show time tomorrow at 9 a.m. We are moving the Sunday show from 5:30 in between the afternoon games and the evening games, so we can cover a little more of what's going on. So tune in tomorrow. It'll be at 9 a.m. just like this show. Both weekend shows now come in at 9 a.m. So Saturdays and Sundays at 9 a.m. Tune in, check us out. Saturdays we'll be covering the college game. Sundays we'll be covering the pro game. And we'll get other stories in there too. Like today we'll have some NBA talk today. We'll do a little bit of this day in sports. Things like that. We'll cover some stuff. So we'll jump into it. We're going to have, just some headlines that caught my eye over the last couple days that I really felt like, I'm just going to talk about these on the show. We're going to start off with the Cowboys. Everybody's riding the Cowboys right now. They're playing very well. The defense is playing better than any of us thought they would have been playing at the beginning of the season for sure. And do credit to them. They're playing hard. They're playing well. That offensive line is exactly what we thought they were 2 years ago. They did have what I would consider for them an off year last year a little bit as they went through a transition to, a new running game and having people injured and hurt and poor defense play, really. And, their season so far, they're 8-1. They're doing real good. They got rookies leading them on the offensive side of the ball. Again, the offensive line is playing very well. I mean, they're just mauling people. They're pushing people around. They're opening holes I could go and run through. And it's been impressive to watch. It really has. It's been a good brand of football. They're playing pretty much mistake-free. Dak Prescott, as a rookie quarterback, has been very impressive. People had concerns about his character, and he dropped to the 4th round. And, he's making a lot of those other picks, a lot of those other quarterbacks who got taken, making those teams look like maybe they should have given him a shot. We talked about with during Cunningham's picks on Wednesday, I do think that Pittsburgh gets at Dallas a little bit this week, but that's another story for tomorrow. But the Cowboys, it's not all, roses right now in Dallas. As we found out this week, they're often troubled young defensive end who was supposed to light the league on fire with his pass rushing ability as he came out of Nebraska, with issues, mind you. They knew this kid had issues when he was coming out of Nebraska, Randy Gregory. And word is, reports are, it's being reported by many different outlets, many different people right now, that Randy Gregory has failed a drug test during his suspension. If that's the case, you're going to see at least a year-long ban for this young man. It's like he's doing the Alden Smith playbook. I just can't defeat my own demons, and I'm not willing to get enough help. I think I can handle it myself, I believe, is what's going on in this situation. And, the Cowboys culture down there, as we've heard, we thought they were reeling in Des Bryant, and he was getting better about what was going on. Reports are that actually he misses a ton of meetings, and they're just giving him a ton of leeway. And they're keeping it hidden. So they're not helping these guys any by just allowing them to do what it is that they're doing. They're not making sure that they have the support system that is needed to be able to get through this. And these guys aren't taking advantage of the opportunities they have with the money they now have to go and seek help so that they continue to do what they want to do. And it's really a sad situation. I would hate to think that had I had the opportunity to make it to the NFL level after my car accident ended my playing days, that if I would have found myself in a situation where I was depressed or out of control or substance abuse, that my love of the game would have led me to reach out for help, and not my pride as a man would have prevented me from doing so. And, I don't know Randy Gregory. I'm not part of the Cowboys organization, so this is purely speculation on my part. It's just how I read the situation. Everybody reads certain situations whatever way they see it, and this is how I see this situation. I think the Cowboys culture down there is not what people think it is, and we're kind of seeing evidence with that with their troubled athletes. One of their non-troubled athletes, Romo, reports are he's practicing this week, he's throwing the ball around, the back's getting better. Will we see him on the field? Are they going to disrupt what's been going on with Dak and Ezekiel and that offensive line and the efficiency, the 8 straight games, the first rookie ever to have 8 straight games of over 100 passer rating? I mean, he's playing efficient, mistake-free football for the most part. He's not having fumbles. He's not having interceptions. I understand, and I agree. Romo's a good quarterback. I've been a fan of Romo. I've defended Romo. Yeah, he makes some boneheaded mistakes, but he's not a Mark Sanchez. He has a boneheaded mistake, but then he's going to come back and give you, 1,800 yards over the next 4 games. He can go on a stretch and give you 30 touchdowns to 10 picks. He's thrown for over 40,000 yards in the NFL. I mean, he is a quality player, and he's had some bonehead mistakes on one of the most talked about teams in the league because of the star. They're America's team. So, Romo might not be active this week. He is supposedly healthy and back and working back, but they just don't know what they're going to do. And I don't blame them. At this point, you got an aging quarterback who's had a recent history of pretty bad injuries, especially back injuries. This is his 2nd or 3rd back injury over the past 5 or 6 seasons. And now you got this young kid who's showing he can handle it, who's showing the pressure's not too much, the stage isn't too big. You got him paired with the young running back, the young offensive line. You can piece together a defense over the next couple of years to really just stay in this thing. And they're in it this year. I still don't think they win the East. I think somehow the Giants managed to pull it out and back up my preseason prediction, but we'll see. Dallas could roll to, only have 1 loss. They could make it to the Super Bowl. We'll have to see for sure. And, then what do you do with Romo at that point? Is it time to trade him? Is it time in the offseason to go, okay, you know what, Tony, we really appreciate what you've done here as a Cowboy, but what are your aspirations? What are you looking to do with the rest of your career? And come to some kind of agreement. If he's looking, I want to play 5 more years, okay, obviously Dallas is really going to be looking at that point to go, you know what, we can't really help you. Does he want to play 1 more year? Do they decide to go back to Romo next season? Does Dak fall apart in the second half of the season and they have a healthy Romo on the bench ready to go? Not similar to Denver last year, because that's not what Denver did last year. They didn't have a healthy Peyton on the bench. Peyton was injured. He was old. His body was falling apart. And he needed all that time off for the injury he did have to get to a point to where it was bearable to play and get through. And then they used his mental ability more so than anything to ride through the Super Bowl, on the offensive side of the ball anyway. We all know what the defense did. And, maybe Denver takes a flyer on a Romo in the offseason. Maybe, he's an older quarterback. They might not want to move that direction and, stunt the development of both Simeon and Paxton Lynch. But Paxton Lynch, he's going to need this year, next year, before he's going to be ready to be a good starter. Sure, he's got the athletic tools, but he's not ready to play a starting role in the NFL. His 1 start was really bad. He was exposed as not being able to get through his reads. Everything was moving too fast for him, and you could see it as on tape. He couldn't slow the game down enough to be able to make the plays you need to make. So maybe Denver reaches out for Romo. Maybe a Miami team with a Tannehill who's underperforming reaches out. Maybe the Jets reach out. Maybe if Teddy Bridgewater's not back and the Vikings aren't really sold on Bradford, the Vikings reach out. Chicago could reach out because it looks like they're going to go away from Jay Cutler in the offseason. So it's going to be an interesting situation. It always is with the Cowboys, especially with the names and the notoriety and everything that goes involved. Jerry Jones, their stadium, their practice facility, everything they do in Texas, obviously they do it big, right? That's the saying. So Cowboys, you got our attention. Your players are doing things. Your teams are winning. You're in the headlines again. Congratulations for that. Now let's do something about it. Let's see something. You've won some games. Now let's win some playoff. Let's make a Super Bowl push. Let's help your players out so they're not finding themselves in these situations. That's what I would like to see. Another good story that I saw coming around this week, and this just shocked me, more so because of how young he looked at the time and how different he looked compared to what he looks now as the big beast on the mound that he is. Bartolo Colon. He's been in the league for, 50 years. He's got to be about 100 years old now. And he's still pitching. He's still dealing. And the Atlanta Braves, who somehow managed to find themselves as one of the worst teams in the league over the last few years, have decided to pay him, I think he's like 43 or 44, somewhere in there, 42 maybe. And the Braves have offered him $12 million. He signed for $12 million to come play for the Atlanta Braves. Now, the interesting part of this story is not how long he's been in the league, not how big he is now compared to how young he looked when he signed with Cleveland way back when. The interesting part of the story and the connection with the Braves and Bartolo Colon is that his first game as a major league pitcher was at the opening of Turner Field, the Braves' old stadium. He was pitching for Cleveland, like I said, and he was the opposing opening day pitcher for that stadium. Well, now that he has signed with Atlanta in the offseason, he will be getting to pitch in their new stadium that they're opening this coming season, the 2017 season. So that's pretty cool for him. I mean, that just he spanned the usage of a stadium in his pitching career. So that's pretty cool. Bartolo Colon still getting it done. You know, he's not your ace, he's not your number one, but if you can put him as your fourth or fifth starter, he's going to get you, 15 at least quality starts throughout the year and maybe more. We've seen what he's done over the past few stops, and he just keeps dealing. I personally thought his career was done a few years ago. Teams keep signing him. He keeps slinging it and getting it done. So good job, Bartolo Colon. Atlanta, I really hope you can turn things around. Baseball needs the Braves to be good. And it's been awkward the last few years having them be so bad. They really have. And a team that's really bad, and I got a feel for them, even though I'm kind of rooting with their fans right now. Reports come out this week that the Cleveland Browns are planning Cleveland Browns fans, the fans of the Cleveland Browns there in Cleveland are planning an 0-16 parade. They are now celebrating and trying to get on board with this. They're a little upset with that team. I can't blame them. As a Lions fan, we are the only team to go 0-16. Sure, the Buccaneers went 0-14, but that was before there was 16 games. So as a Lions fan, sure, I'm rooting for somebody else to join the club. Join the party. Be part of that 0-whatever club. Okay? We need more members. Now, at the same time as I say that, that's the fan side. The realistic, the football player, the other side of being a fan of that, I don't want to see any team ever go 0-16. I've said on this show, there's not really any team in the NFL I root against. Like, I just don't want them to win. Robert Kraft is really trying to push that for me right now. I've defended the Patriots a lot. But Robert Kraft, with his statements about why they should ban personalized cleats in the NFL, when you're having ratings drop, when you're having the no-fun league, when guys are feeling like they can't go out there and perform. And I know Von Miller said this week, it's not the no-fun league. We got punters dancing. Why are they going to throw a flag on a punter? That's never going to happen. That punter's going to have to do something so egregious